same way.
Natural pineapple.
That too.
The ginger. Yeah, but I didn't show it. Like, see, there's passion. I've never had passion for it. Passion for it, I suggest it's right. Okay, hi. My name is George Soria, and I'm the proud founder of 47 Million Reasons Healthcare Movement. And we are standing in a project known as South Florida Permaculture Resource Center, here located in West Palm Beach, Florida, where we created an actual food forest. So come visit and see our beautiful oasis. This project started really when I first became aware of permaculture as far as the farm is concerned. The idea of permaculture, which basically has different concepts, all right, the idea of food forest intrigued me. The fact that we can create food, all right, with its natural elements, all right, without irrigation system. I thought that was fascinating. How can you grow food without the irrigation system? Because here we learn about irrigation systems. Farming it includes irrigation systems. So I was introduced to it by a young man named David, and he basically said that he wanted to be a farmer, and he basically taught me about permaculture. Said we can grow food without irrigation, just working with nature by itself. And I found that fascinating. So I said, well, what do you need to make it happen? And he said, I need land. And I said, well, I happen to have that, so therefore that's how the project really, I learned about permaculture. From the simple idea of a young man who wanted to learn, basically do permaculture, didn't have the land, and I provided the land in order to get it done. And since then, we started with the project. Now the project is started in about 2014, and at that time not too many people knew about permaculture. It was like, what's permaculture? Even the USDA didn't know about permaculture, and so I went and talked about it, wanted to see if I could get agricultural, and I couldn't. I just got a portion of it because it was something new and something that was not considered farming. So needless to say, I said, fine, no problem. I'm still going to do it because it's all about nature. And so from 2014, I had to wait 10 years because I had to grow and plant everything, that pretty much fruit trees and so forth that you see here and that you see throughout the whole forest. The food is been planted and it's been planted with heirloom seeds. And so it began, and I waited, and those seeds turned into small plants, and they kept growing. And a tree takes about 10 years to finally grow, to reach maturity, and then from there, it's good forever. And that was the objective, to build a forest where the trees will be there longer than I will be here, longer than you will be here. Be here for the next future generations, so that we can preserve nature, and we can have a living ecosystem, and we have plentiful of food that will be good for the community. Ironically, the support has come from outside, from all different parts of the United States. Here locally, it's been supportive, but the concept, and this is what society today brings, unfortunately, is everyone wants immediate results. You know, the idea that you are planting something and waiting for nature to do its job, all right, which takes 10 years. Not too many people are willing to do that. Not too many people are willing to wait. They want instant gratification, instant results. Where I looked at nature and said, no, let nature do the work. Because permaculture is about observation and let nature do its thing. And so we basically said, and I kept that theory ongoing, is that we're going to let nature do the work, and we're going to be just stewards of the land, and we're going to help and mimic as much as we can, as well as let things go by nature itself. And that's where we are today. The results is what you will see today.
Yeah.
What has happened is, like it happens in any true forest, if you have a living ecosystem, all right, and you have the birds and have all the animals and you have everything around you and everything is growing, what happens is the animals become the workers, because they would eat the food, all right, and they will drop the seeds everywhere. I mean, it doesn't stop. You can't control that. So every time you take a walk, you walk the path, every time you look, there's always a new tree. There's something already growing that I've never even planted. I never knew the tree was even there. It just grows because nature in itself is beautiful. It does the work for you. Once you initiate and start, all right, and lay it out, nature takes over and nature does the rest. So I have banana trees I've never seen. I have avocado trees. I have mango trees. They have jackfruit trees. They just continually keep growing. Wow. And as long as the trees keep growing at this point, because it takes 10 years once they mature, but once they start giving fruit, the animals eat the fruit, and that is spread throughout the whole forest, and it continues, and it will continue forever. Yeah, the trees will continue to grow. Once we reach that point, the pivot point, where the trees now start fruiting, then nature takes over. At that given point, we've done everything we can, and nature will do the rest. And the fact that you're protecting the ecosystem, that is the most important, because that is what works together with all living things, and it just blossoms from there. And so I expect that this will be here for 100 years or more, because even though the old trees get older, the new trees keep growing. Right. So a forest would just continue to progress, and that was the intention. The intention was to create a food forest, to create food in a community, and that every community can have a forest, so that therefore it becomes plentiful, it becomes a place for the animals to live, it becomes a place for food, and nature continues forward and gives us the best of the best, because it's perfect here. Right. This project was created as a pilot to show that it can be done, to show this world does not have a food shortage.
Right.
Okay? We have a lot of food. There's foods up in the mountains, right? There's a lot of food everywhere. The problem is we don't recognize it. All right. There's food. There's plants here you're going to see that you people can eat. All right, but they don't recognize it as food, simply because they never learned about it, and no one seems to educate everyone about it, because food is free.
Right, that's one of the things.
So it makes so anyone who's selling food, and the food is free, once you teach them how to grow and once you teach them how to eat healthy food and it's free, no one's going to buy it. So that is not what our society is about. Our society is unfortunately about finding ways to grow food to sell it to profit.
Yeah.
All right, and so there is no food shortage. There is the shortage that exists is the education that's required, that our ancestors and our grandparents knew, that now it's been lost. All right, and that is what makes things work, is once you learn, then you will do always, and you can't. There's no such thing as starving. It's a question of learning how to, and this is what's not being taught enough. And you can't learn it in a science lab, and you can't learn it. You have to experience it by doing it, and you have to be able to give yourself the time. This has been a 10-year education for me, and every day is something new happens.
Yeah.
Right. It's an ever-ending thing, but it makes you feel part of what we are. We're part of this whole forest. This is how we live. This is how our ancestors lived, and they lack nothing. All right, and the water is clear, food is healthy, and we live that long, healthy life. I mean, people have lived to 100 years of age, and that's common. Now we're barely making it to my age. Yeah. All right, so there's a lot to learn if we respect nature and we treat it fairly, and the animals that are in it. Yes, it lasts forever, and it will be here forever, unless the developer comes and destroys it all. I guess the biggest thing I learned is that I am part of this nature. All right. I am not a stranger that looks at nature as, oh, how pretty that looks. I am part of the living system, and everything here is part of a living system. This gives me health. All right. Every time I walk, I'm at peace. Every time I eat something, it's healthy, it's fresh, it tastes great, and it makes me feel good. Everything I do here is so important because you can even heal here. You know, there's no stress here. There's no unhealthy food. There's no fertilizers, poisonous that we've done to the land. None of these terrible things exist. It makes me feel human and part of something bigger than what we are. All right. Without nature, we do not exist. And with nature, we heal. And with nature, we are at peace. Nature gives those qualities to us, and I've learned so much because of that, because it's taught me, you know, when I'm here, I'm not stressed at all. And whatever stress I may have disappears. And nothing so feels better than picking a fruit from a tree and eating it and tasting the fruit, not watered down fruit. That's what's being sold out there.
Yeah.
It's actual, fresh. It tastes so different. It tastes so good, and your body just responds to it so beautiful. Even and breathing air, just walking in the forest, I get 100% oxygen. It stimulates my whole body. I feel great, you know. And that's what matters, and that's what makes it great, you know. Hearing ducks, chickens, squirrels, everything is around me. It's great because it's here real peaceful. It makes it real peaceful for me, and that's what I've learned. I've learned is we are too distant away from what we are part of. This is part of our existence, and yet we ignore it. And so we are a society that's totally stressed out, focused on the wrong things, and giving little attention to the things that really matter, which is this. When I walk the path, not only do I hear all the sounds of the animals, it's very peaceful, but I'm seeing my fruit. I'm walking around food. I'm walking the path of food, and as I walk the path, it gives me serenity. It makes me relaxed, and when I go, it's just so peaceful. And I guess so. My favorite part of it is the path, and seeing the children, seeing when the kids come in. I guess having that child, helping them take a fruit from a tree. And then that child sits in a bunch with his parent, and they eating the tree, they're eating the fruit, and that kid is so happy. He's smiling, he's tasting it, he's asking for another one, and he wants to go out and pick more and more. You know, that is the beauty of it all. Is that child now is appreciating nature and appreciating his surroundings, and that's unfortunately what many children are lacking and missing today. People can get involved by just looking at our website and filling in and becoming volunteers. People can get involved, businesses can get involved by helping us build the next level, all right, through donations, all right, through even physically coming in and helping do the work, all right. I mean, this was created for a society, a community, to work together as a community and share in the wealth of nature. All right. So people can call us. They can call us. They can respond to our website at www.sfprc.org. All right. They can go into the phone number. They can call us at 561 425-9600. They can basically make a donation online through PayPal, whatever. But the most important thing I'd rather have than a donation from a distance is I'd rather have the people come, get their hands dirty, feel feel the forest, as opposed to just reading about it, looking at pictures, and say, "Hi, this soap's nice." Because a picture is nice, but you can't appreciate nature unless you're there seeing it on a 3D basis.